यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकचर्यो अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् शिलभै चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराणम की समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण। वंदे गुरून् ईश भक्तान् ईशम् ईशवतारकान् तत्प्रकाशांश्च तत्शक्ति कृष्ण चैतन्य संज्ञकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महवदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिसे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी भूतैर्महद्भिर्यैमा पुरो विभु निर्मायसे ते जदमुषु पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मक सवङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे मदेकबन्धुमत्सङ्गीन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निस्तारकमद्भाग्य मदानन्दनमस्तु ते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतिनीचचतारक हानमञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णारित्कण्ठया स्फुरः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, Purusha Sukta Confirmed. So text number 8 on the board. So you can please repeat after me. Apāṁ vīryasya sargasya parjanyasya prajāpateḥ puṁsaḥ śiśna upasthastu prajāty-ānanda-nirvṛteḥ apāṁ vīryasya sargasya parjanyasya prajāpateḥ puṁsaḥ śiśna upasthastu prajāty-ānanda-nirvṛteḥ apāṁ vīryasya sargasya parjanyasya prajāpateḥ puṁsaḥ śiśna upasthastu prajāty-ānanda-nirvṛteḥ. Please repeat. Mataji, please. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki apām of water, vīryasya of the semen, sargasya of the generative, parjanyasya of rains, prajāpateḥ of the creator, puṁsaḥ of the Lord, śiśnaḥ the genitals, upasthas the place where the genitals are situated, prajāti due to begetting, ānanda pleasure, nirvṛteḥ cause. Translation: from the Lord's genitals originate water, semen, generatives, rains, and the procreators. His genitals are the cause of a pleasure that counteracts the distress of begetting. Purport: the genitals and the pleasure of begetting counteract the distress of family encumbrances. One would cease to generate altogether if there were not, by the grace of the Lord, a coating, a pleasure-giving substance on the surface of the generative organs. This substance gives a pleasure so intense that it counteracts fully the distress of family encumbrances. A person is so captivated by this pleasure-giving substance that he is not satisfied by begetting a single child, but increases the number of children with great risk in regard to maintaining them, simply for this pleasure-giving substance. This pleasure-giving substance is not false, however, because it originates from the transcendental body of the Lord. In other words, the pleasure-giving substance is a reality, but it has taken on an aspect of pervertedness on account of material contamination. In the material world, sex life is the cause of many distresses on account of material contact. Therefore, the sex life in the material world should not be encouraged beyond the necessity. There is a necessity for generating progeny even in the material world, but such generation of children must be carried out with full responsibility for spiritual values. The spiritual values of life can be realized in the human form of material existence, and the human being must adopt family planning with reference to the context of spiritual values and not otherwise. The degraded form of family restriction by use of contraceptives, etc., is the grossest type of material contamination. Materialists who use these devices want to fully utilize the pleasure potency of the coating on the genitals by artificial means without knowing the spiritual importance. And without knowledge of spiritual values, the less intelligent man tries to utilize only the material sense pleasure of the genitals. apāṁ vīryasya sargasya parjanyasya prajāpateḥ puṁsaḥ śiśnaḥ upasthas prajāty-ānanda-nirvṛteḥ. From the Lord's genitals originate water, semen, generatives, rains, and the procreators. Prajāpati. His genitals are the cause of a pleasure that counteracts the distress of begetting. So, in chapter 5, we discussed Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. And Maharaj Parikshit, he wanted to know about the creation subject, how the totality of this material world, the cosmos, the creator is created, and the living entities who feel this cosmos as the vyasti srishti, created by the Supreme Lord in the first place. So he wanted to know about all those things. So he asked this question to Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami. And so Sukadeva Goswami, in this connection, he is giving a reference to the discussion that happened between Narad Muni and Brahma. The same subject, the question regarding same subject matter was asked by Narad Muni to Lord Brahma. And the way Brahma, he responded to the question of Narada, that is what is directly being relayed by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So in this connection, we are discussing about the Virata Rupa, the universal form of the Supreme Lord. So Srila Parikshit, Sri Parikshit Maharaj, he had asked this question to Sukadeva Goswami that Yatha sandharyate brahman dharana jatra sammata jadrishiva haredasu purushasya manomalam. So the mind of a conditioned soul is fully contaminated in the material world. So purushasya manomalam means how the mind, the contaminated mind of a conditioned soul can be purified. Therefore he is saying Jatha sandharyate brahman dharana jatra sammata. Where and how the mind of a conditioned soul can be applied so that it can attain purification. It can be purified. So this is the subject matter of the description of the Virata Purusha of the Supreme Lord. Not that just like the Vedantists who follow the Veda, and this especially by referring to the statements of the Upanishads, they ascertain the impersonal feature of the absolute truth, and they hardly have the understanding about the personality feature of the Supreme Lord. Even though we have so many references from the Vedas where the Shruti statements confirms about the personal feature of the personality of Godhead. For example, if we say Atma ba idam agra asit purusha vidha. So in this Upanishads, in the statement of Shruti, Atma ba idam agra asit. This Atma here referred to the Supreme Lord. He is there even before the creation. So idam agra asit purusha vidha. This purusha vidha statement of the Shruti refers to having a human form. Purusha vidha means he is the Supreme Lord who is the object of worship of all the living entities, is a Purusha. He has a form. So in that way, we can understand Maharaj Parikshit, he was already in contact with the Supreme Lord. He understood Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is the object of worship for him. From his childhood, he had been engaged in worshipping Krishna while playing. So, now the question can be asked, why he is asking this question, that where and how the mind can be applied. Already you know, Krishna, he is a person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you have been from your childhood playing with a doll of Krishna. So why are you asking this question? Yes, he is asking this question to teach everyone, whether you are a personalist or impersonalist. For everyone, there is a clue in Srimad Bhagavatam how they can gradually, if they are impersonalists, still there is a possibility that gradually they can come to the platform of coming in contact with the person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, therefore, his idea is, Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the Purport, the patent and potencies are identical. Shruti says, Sakti, Sakti Matayo Raveda, right? Energy, patent and potencies, energetic. Sakti is energy, and Sakti Matayo, Saktiman, that is energetic. So there is no difference. Sakti, Sakti Matayo Raveda. So in that context, this manifestation of the cosmos is nothing but the manifestation of the energy of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Brahmano hi pratisthaham, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Elsewhere he says, Tasam Brahma Mahajjoni. What is that? Mahajjoni. Brahma. That is Brahma. So in that way, this energy which has manifested before us in form of this cosmos is the energy of the energetic, that is Purusha, Purusha Vidha. So then, when somebody who understands that they are identical, even the conception of his impersonal cosmic feature helps the conditioned soul to associate with the Lord indirectly, and thus gradually rise to the stage of personal contact. See, this is the benefit of reading a commentary given by a Vaishnava Acharya and then reading to the commentary of the so-called Vedantists who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Absolute Truth. So Vaishnava Acharya can very clearly analyze the statements of the Vedas, and they can bring out the ultimate goal for the human being, that they should be coming in contact with the person, that is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here in this connection, when these explanations are given, let the Vedantists focus on their impersonalist approach and remain in ignorance. That's why Krishna says, Javajananti mam mudha manusim tanum ashrita. When I appear in the human form, the mudhas, Prabhupada asked, he translates this mudha word as rascal in his translation. So these mudhas, they don't accept Krishna when he appears in human form. But those who are devotees of the Lord, they can very easily take advantage of Krishna's presence. For example, here when we are discussing about this Purusha, Virata Purusha form of the Lord, so these different planetary systems are described at the different angas of this Supreme Lord, that is Virata Rupa, right? Why? So those who are yogis, those who are neophyte, in the neophyte stage, they need something to meditate on, right? What are they going to meditate? A light. What is this light you can meditate on? Brahma. What is Brahma? Brahma anga kantitar-nirvṛteḥ prakashe. Jadadvaita Brahma panishadi tadapyasya tanuha. The Brahma, which have been defined as impersonal Brahman, what is that in the Upanishad? Tad api asya tanuha. That is the bodily effulgence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, very clearly defined. So we are not confused. So those who are confused, for them, here is a clue given by Maharaj Parikshit, that, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, that the mind can be applied in the gross manifestation of the Supreme Lord, which have been defined as the Virata Rupa, and this jnana is gradually, by such a conception, they will purify their consciousness, and they will be able to ultimately come in contact with the personality feature of the Lord. They will be able to appreciate that feature of the personality of Godhead. So therefore, it is helpful for them. But in case of the Vaishnavas, we understand that same Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he has said in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumira panalo vayukhang mana buddhirevacha ahankara iti yang me bhinna prakriti. We are not confused. Even though this cosmos is a creation of, is an amalgamation, we can say also, of the energy of the Supreme Lord, me bhinna prakriti. He said, this is my bhinna prakriti. So he is prakriti. That means we understand in this connection when it is said, apāṁ vīryasya sargasya parjanyasya prajāpateḥ puṁsaḥ śiśna upasthas prajāty-ānanda-nirvṛteḥ. So here, all these, first of all, different mahat tattva, mahat. For example, apāṁ means water. So water is one of the ingredients of the creation. So all these are coming from the Supreme Lord. And finally, when it comes to speak about the generative organs or the generations which are coming from this śiśnendriya, so the message is that originally he is Purusha, from him all the sense organs are created and the living entities are receiving their organs from him. Therefore, the organs of the living entity must be engaged in his service. Very simple. Our acharyas, they say, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. That is bhakti. Using the senses in the service of the master of the senses. So here, this, particularly this sense of śiśna upasthas. So that have been very elaborately commented by Srila Prabhupada. He is saying this, the substance gives, before that he says, one would cease to generate altogether if there were not, by the grace of the Lord, a coating, a pleasure-giving substance on the surface of the generative organs. So, the living entities, when they are in contact with this material world, they are very much self-centric. Their consciousness is fully engrossed with this material body. They always try to seek pleasure in terms of this material body. And therefore, they are blind to self-realization. They do not know that Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of His causeless mercy, He has given you this wealth. This material body is nothing but a form of wealth given to the living being, living entity, especially to the human being, by the proper use, by the proper investment of this wealth, you can attain something which is beyond this cosmos, beyond the material world. But unfortunately, the conditioned souls are not qualified to understand this gift or this mercy of the Supreme Lord, because they are not being educated properly. It's a very sad thing. If we see how the modern education system is confusing the civilization. In the name of advancement, they are simply creating the cavities in this world, how people can be so, their consciousness be so limited to the experiences of these bodily senses. And they feel, oh, our science is so great and we are so happy. But they do not know this modern science is actually not allowing them to see the superior truth, the reality. So therefore, when we come across Srimad Bhagavatam, the eyes are opened. That, hey, the Supreme Lord, He has given this opportunity for you. He has given you this body. And whatever necessary, whatever the necessity is that you want for your enjoyment, you think that is for your enjoyment, foolish man, that is not first of all for your enjoyment. Even if you think for your enjoyment, Krishna has given so much. If you think, even if that is for your enjoyment, somebody is giving you, you foolish man, why don't you recognize Him? You understand? Very simple. Even if you take, everything is given to you by somebody, you should have some tribute towards Him. Oh, He is so merciful. He is giving me so much. But ignorant people who are just simply thinking about their own self, their consciousness cannot go beyond themselves, their happiness. Therefore, they are failed to recognize this gift of the Supreme Lord. Why Krishna is giving so much opportunity? There are some spiritual philosophers, they say, oh, this world is created for our enjoyment. Oh, yes, this is for your enjoyment. How much can you enjoy? Okay, this is for your enjoyment. You can enjoy everything in this world? So much gold, so much opulence, you can enjoy everything? How much you can enjoy? You can't enjoy. You can't enjoy. You can only enjoy if you come in contact with the Supreme Enjoyer. That is how you enjoy. Means, you do not know how to enjoy. For example, these people who are non-Krishna conscious, I would say non-devotees, they're like a small ignorant child. They don't know how to enjoy their life. Just like a baby, if you take the example of a small child who is born in a very, very highly opulent family. A family has a big house, so many different kind of enjoyment facilities. There is AC, what not, I don't have to speak much detail about all these things. So a materialistic person, he has got all the materialistic paraphernalia available in his house to enjoy. Now you tell me, a small boy, small child, how does, now I am feeling so hot, I need to put the aircon on. Do you know? Does he have the brain? Does he have the capacity that he can enjoy the aircon facility? He doesn't know. So what he does, he just simply depends on his father. And then father has created this good house. He has also brought all these, facilities to enjoy. Then he said, okay, my dear child, come sit on my lap. I'll help you. And then baby is very happy. So this is what the message is. My dear devotees, my dear non-devotees, Krishna is saying, just come closer to me. This is all this I have created for together. Be happy. You understand when I say, aham bija pradapita, I am the seed-giving father. I am your father. I am looking forward to your ultimate happiness. And I can give that. Nobody can give you. And you yourself also, how much you try, still you will fail in every attempt. Try to understand this. So he has made these things available for us. He is a person, he is our father, he is our true well-wisher. Saying Bhagavad Gita, Suhridam sarvabhutanam. Sarvabhutanam. Did he say Suhridam bhaktanam? No, he is saying Suhridam sarvabhutanam. See the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, when the devotees of the Lord, they see such kind of things. For example, we were looking at this verse from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Akrura, he came to Vrindavan from Mathura to bring Krishna and Balram to Mathura. So he prayed to Krishna so nicely. He also has understood this Virata Rupa is nothing but a manifestation of the Supreme Lord Krishna. He's saying, you see, he's saying in his prayer, Bhustoyamagni pavanaksamadir mahanajadir mana indriyani sarvendriyartha vibudhascha sarve jehe tavaste jagatanga bhutaha te anga bhutaha idam jagat. This cosmic manifestation is created from you. Te means tava anga bhuta. It's coming from your anga. Means whatever we see, he is saying bhutayah agni pavana. Pavana means vayu. Kham, adi means ahankar. So all these things, and he is saying sarvendriyartha vivudhascha sarve. Indriyartha. These five sense objects, they are indriyartha. And vivudha, the demigods, the controlling deities of the senses, the sense organs, they are all created by you. That means we are not like those kind of impersonalists that we just want to understand that Lord is now distributed everywhere, so ultimately he is formless. There is no form, and enjoy everything. He is giving everything to us. No, we understand. Here is Krishna. This is his energy, and he is giving us an opportunity how everything can be engaged in his service. What is this Srishti? What is this creation? This is also a pastime of the Supreme Lord. Many people, they don't understand. There is a pastime means a pastime that are explained in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is only pastime. You make Krishna so limited. That means Krishna is only limited to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. His pastime is everywhere. The creation matter is also a pastime of the Supreme Lord. What is his pastime? When you say pastime means it's meant for enjoyment, right? for happiness. This is his pastime. He's taking a holiday, taking his family for an outing. That is his pastime. That's a pleasure. He's enjoying. You want to enjoy? We say Krishna's pastime is his creation subject. Yes. Krishna is not independently enjoying. He is always looking forward to enjoyment of every individual. Right? First of all, we said he has given all these facilities, and after he has created these quarters. These are all quarters, right? Residential quarter for the soul. Different 8,400,000 species. These are the quarters, residential quarter for the living entity. And when they enter into the quarters, still they cannot enjoy. And he again enters in form of the super soul. Can you imagine? Andantarastha paramāṇu chayantarastham. And because of him only, the living entity are able to enjoy in this life. So he is always with you. He is always there. Why don't you recognize him? This is what the message is. Therefore, the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, when they see such narrations in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they always connect with the Supreme Lord, and that is how they try to recognize the existence of the Absolute Truth, and by realizing his personal feature, they engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. That is how they clear their path back home, back to Godhead in this very life. So thank you very much. We would conclude here. Maybe if you have some question or comment, we can discuss. Yes, Prabhu. Somebody can give mic, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. Please tell me, I heard in the lecture that you said that the impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, is a effulgence of the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Can you maybe please tell some Shastric reference? Because I remember from Srila Prabhupada's books reading that it's like effulgence of Krishna's body or of Vishnu's body, but I never really heard that is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body, which is, I would like to I would like that very much, but I really don't remember just the Shastric
So
reference.
Krishna says he is the ashraya of Brahma, right? Brahmano hi pratistham. He is the shelter of Brahman. Krishna, right?
Yes, yes.
That's what we say. You also said Krishna. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Pranam mantra? This time, this morning only we chanted Mahaprabhu's Pranam mantra. What did we?
Namo Mahavadanyaya.
Namo Mahavadanyaya. Complete. Complete the mantra.
Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Tvishya
Ah.
Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna
Namo
Prema
Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. So Rupa Goswami is offering his obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is saying? My dear Lord, you are Mahavadanya Purush. Incarnation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why? Why are you saying this? Oh, I am not, I am not Mahavadanya Purush. No, Krishna Prema Pradayate. You are here to give Krishna Prema. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again raises the objection. Oh, Krishna Danya Ko Valatasopi Prema da Bhavati. You think Krishna Prema is so easy? Who can give Krishna? Only Krishna can give Krishna Prema. Then Rupa Goswami said, no, yes, I know Krishna can give. Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya. I am offering obeisances unto Krishna, who is in form of Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu present before me. That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, right? He is Krishna. Brajendra Nandana Jai, Sachisuta Haila Sai, Balarama Haila Nitai. So in that way, he is Krishna. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mangalacharan prayer, he wanted reference. This is the reference. Jadadvaita Brahmopanishadi Tadapyasya Tanubha Ja Atmantarjame Purushati Sursyangsha Vibhava Sadaishwarya Purna Jaiha Bhagavan Sa Swayam Ayam Na chaitanyat Krishna jagati. Na chaitanyat. Besides Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nothing exists in this world. Na chaitanyat Krishna jagati. Pratatvam paramya. So, he is Krishna. He has come in form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you say Brahma Anga Kanti, Brahma is the Anga Kanti of Krishna, then why not Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is the shelter of Brahma Tattva.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadhu.
I didn't understand before in which sense you meant, but I understand now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Give Rameswar Prabhu first, I think.
Thank you very much. This text and purport seems to present and by that I mean with no artificial contraception, a child should be born out of sex. So the conditioned souls, they like the pleasure substance, but they have to have the mentality that this is for Krishna. If I have a child from this, that is my offering to Krishna. Today in Kali Yuga, a million miles away from this, every type of contraception is like killing. The soul is there, and you're denying its body. It's like killing, and it just and they're mad after sex, and if there's by accident a child, there'll be abortion. So somehow, Krishna consciousness is going to have to bring the world back to the idea that everything is for the pleasure of Krishna, not for you, including sex. This is, Prabhupada has written, sex desire is the ultimate original cause of bondage. It's the hardest link in the chain of bondage to cut. Somehow our Krishna consciousness movement is going to have to teach what no one wants to hear. I remember once there was a conversation with Prabhupada, and he was joking and saying, yes, to a reporter, yes, I have come to give you the greatest pleasure. All you have to do, give up sex, give up intoxication, give up meat eating. And Prabhupada was laughing, and the reporter understanding has gone from Vedic truth. So I don't know if you have a comment about how we're to convince people of this, but it's the ultimate cause of bondage and continuation of birth and death is sex. Hare Krishna.
So this was a wonderful comment. So thank you, Rameswar Prabhu. Yes, Prabhupada has established this organization, and as we all of us know, Prabhupada did not establish just some center, some temple to conduct deity worship program. Of course, we are doing that, we are not denying. But the prime goal for Prabhupada is to educate everybody in the science of Krishna consciousness. That's how you see. An outsider, he says, any organization created without any literature that cannot sustain for a long time. Prabhupada is of literature. He has created so many books for us. Now it is up to us how we are going to make the best use of his literature. Well, Prabhupada said, these are not my commentaries. These are not my words, Prabhupada is saying. We can see it directly, right? The difference is, many of us, even before coming to Krishna consciousness, we have had the experience of reading many outsiders, books, authors, they have written so many books. You just read once, after that you don't feel like going back to that book again. You don't find any interest there. Why Prabhupada is saying these are not my words? Because you can see Krishna has become manifested in form of Sabda Brahma through Prabhupada's lips. And they are on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. He is Krishna. Then when you come to him, Krishna means he is ever expanding. You go to him, the way you approach him, he also kind of manifests before you. First time you read like a very new fire devotee, he reveals little bit. Next time you come back with more surrender and service mood, he reveals more to you. Next time more. So every time you come back, you learn new things, right? So in that way, these books should be prime, book for spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. That's it. Yes, Prabhuji.
The Grihastha ashram and Grihamedi. And he said it very simply. Grihastha ashram means when the husband and wife have sex, they want to have a child. They're hoping there will be a child. And Grihamedi is just the opposite. They're hoping there won't be a child. So they can just go on having this animal-like sex. And Prabhupada said, that's the difference. Grihastha ashram, they want sex to result in a child. And everybody else, they don't. Hare Krishna.
Very, very good point. See, sometimes people say ashram means ashram life. Those who are renunciants living in some, monastery, that is Grihastha ashram. You have constructed a house, that is also an ashram. That is not the place for enjoyment. That is also to realize Krishna. Renunciant is living in a monastery, that's also ashram for him. Such a wonderful, see, everything, all terminology used in the scripture has its scientific explanation to bring us closer to Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, we need to have more dedicated preachers and teachers of Krishna consciousness. Prabhu in the early days, he worked so hard to keep these books, printed through BBT, and now our devotees are also continuing. We have these wonderful books of Prabhupada. If we give more emphasis on to distributing these literatures and preparing study guide for these literatures and giving devotees a clue how they can systematically, in depth, study Prabhupada's books, that is how we can bring a revolution in the misdirected lives of the entire human civilization. Yes.
If people are having sex and they're not hoping for a child that they can offer to Krishna, there is a consequence, an unfortunate consequence, which is explained in ways that we can't even hardly imagine, about the hellish planets that the result of having sex without wanting to offer a child to Krishna leads to some punishments. We don't intuitively think like that, but the Bhagavatam is teaching that truth, and it's those who are addicted to sex should read the 5th canto. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, there are so many very strict statements are there. In this connection, I would say it requires some sort of spiritual intelligence, so the devotee can very very carefully communicate this message without disturbing the mind of a materialist. Otherwise, they will not come back to us. You need to have very polite, genuine and refined approach. You speak in a sugar-coated manner so that these people, you don't scare them away.
Theme of the Vedic planetarium.
Yes.
There's no exhibits on the hellish planets that are coming in this museum.
Joy. Thank you. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for the nice class. You were talking about how it is unfortunate, like the Mudas who don't accept Krishna's supreme position, and it's a very unfortunate situation, not knowing who is the supreme controller. There is another unfortunate situation when we cannot recognize a real devotee versus somebody who is an imposter or acting like a devotee. Also to be cheated because of a devotee's position or his, how he is presented in the institution as a big devotee. But devotees should choose, maybe you can comment a little bit, how to understand and follow somebody who actually has deep realizations in Krishna consciousness, rather than be misled and waste a lot of time not hearing from pure sources.
See, Mahaprabhu says, Achar prachar name karaha doi karya. First of all, those who are in leadership position, they should understand the statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very carefully. He is not speaking prachar first. First is achar. What is the meaning of achar? Acharanasya means you try to follow what scripture says. If we don't follow, as time, as time passes, automatically we become senior. That's a kind of, we can say, so-called, understanding of the people of this world. So how are you going to justify that you are a senior member and on top of that you are having some responsibility? Do you believe that many innocent people, they are installing their faith on you, and because you are a pretender and you are not following things, Shastra properly, and knowingly or unknowingly you are actually cheating a big mass of people, they are, either with sentiment they are attached to you, or they just, they feel you are a senior member, they just like you, or they respect you because you hold a big position. Many people, they respect people from different religion. You hold a position, you have money, you are a senior member, you can speak, big philosophy, impress people. These are not the qualification to judge a sadhu, first of all. Therefore, we say that the sadhu, guru and shastra should be our guideline. That before we stamp somebody as a recognized or established sadhu, he should be thoroughly checked. Well, this is very, very pathetic situation, Prabhu. What I would say is, first thing is, I would say more responsibilities should go on to the individuals. Those who are in hierarchy, higher position, having some responsibility in their life, they should realize that when I am in a responsible position, many people, they are actually watching me. They are looking forward to my taking guidance from me. How am I actually justifying my role? Unless we become self-conscious on this matter, it's very hard to bring any change. Anyway, people going to be sentimentally attached to some leaders. That is there. You cannot change this. This is the law, one of the law of the material world, material creation. There is sentiment in people. But you, as a leader, how do you look into yourself? That's a very important factor, I would say, in this connection. Acharanasya, becoming well-behaved. Well-behaved means you behave as per the Guru Sadhana Shastra. Many things can be said in this connection, Prabhu. Anyway, I would not go further. So let us hear from Ramesh.
There was nothing private.
Yes.
That was Prabhupada's perfect example. There was no difference between his public life and as if he had some private life. He always kept devotees in his presence as an example. And that's the perfect example from what we have unfortunately learned, that leaders should follow this very carefully. Not meet privately with different, they should always, like for example, if you go to Maharaja's quarters, Jayapataka Maharaj, he's surrounded by so many devotees helping him. There's no private life. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what Prabhupada taught for leaders. If they don't follow that, Maya is stronger than even the strongest demigods, what to speak of little humans. So, to protect yourself, protect ourselves from Maya, there should be no real private life. Always be with devotees. Hare Krishna.
I think this concept of private life comes into somebody's mind when they have failed to release the association of the devotees. Means they have failed to chant their rounds properly.
It's difficult to comment on the practices of others, but my experience in the early days of our movement is that we always attended the full program and chanted our rounds in the temple, and everyone saw us doing that. So it removes doubts. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, those days are gone. I don't see. The indication, we have to conclude the session now. No. The commander says conclude the class. Okay, thank you very much. No, Prabhu, you are always welcome. You are senior member in the organization, and we would like to hear more from devotees like you, who had a lot of Prabhupada's personal association. When you speak from your realization. That is what we meant to hear. It was perfectly all right, Prabhu. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premananda.